Hey, blessings to you. Welcome to Pastor Jerone TV. I'm your host, Pastor Jerone Davison. Those of you who know my ministry and been around my ministry for a while, you know that I'm a deliverance preacher. You know that I'm a teacher. You know that I'm a preacher. You know that I'm an evangelist in so many ways. And those of you who's been under my pastoring, you know that I'm a good shepherd and a pastor as well. But I want to talk to y'all about why demons don't have a legal right to exist in this realm. They don't have a legal right to exist in this realm. And demons, or what we call spirits, and why they are here, and why we have a right to cast them out. All right, and why we shouldn't befriend them, and why every Christian should be a deliverance Christian. All right, because you got to help ease people from these demonic spirits. But anyway, Genesis chapter 6. I have some videos on here that you really need to check out. I have a series of videos on here called Sex with Angels. Sex with Angels. Sex with Angels Part 1, Sex with Angels Part 2, and Part 3. You really need to check those out and then and incorporate it with this video that I'm about to share with you. Genesis chapter 6, it records that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. They came down and they had offspring with them. Those offspring that they had were known as the Nephilim, giants. There were giants in the earth at that time. And they filled the earth with violence. They filled the earth with violence. And it repented God that he had made man. In other words, God felt sorry that he had made man because his rebellious angels had come down and perverted and committed an abomination against the creation of God. Now, this is a very unique situation, and this is a part of my thesis that I'm writing for my homework. So, now, you'll notice in heaven that the description of what Ezekiel has of an angel called a cherubim, the description that he gives of this cherubim is that it is a four-part hybrid being. It is the face of a man, the face of an ox, the face of an eagle, and the face of a lion. And it had four sides. His face is at four sides. It has four wings, eyes in all the wings. It has man's thighs and a calf's feet. It's a hybrid. God, because those angels were created to live in the heavenly realm, in the celestial realm. Those hybrids are only to abide in the heavenly realm. That's their living range. That's their arrangement. They were not to live in the earth realm. So when God began to make mankind, he took that hybrid and pretty much pulled it apart. He put the ox over here, he put the eagle in the air, he put man on the ground, he put cattle on the ground, right? And he separated that so that all of us are not hybrid beings. We all have our separate existence in a kingdom type setting, in the earth, the animal kingdom, and the man kingdom, and the fowl kingdom. But when the angels fell in Genesis chapter 6, they came down and began to recombine angels with men and with animals again, and they perverted the creation of God, which was an abomination. And that's when those beings who were not supposed to be on the earth, those heavenly beings who was not supposed to have a dwelling on the earth but in the heavenly realms, Peter said, I think it was in 2 Peter, that they left their first habitation. In other words, they left their first house. They left their dwelling, the house that they lived in, their celestial bodies, and put on earthly type bodies whereby they can have sex and have offspring. When they did that, they broke a law against God. They broke his order, and they were unlawfully on this earth. It was unlawful, it was legal. And their offspring, the Nephilim, the giants, the men of renown, when God sent the flood, he destroyed all of them, and he disembodied them from their bodies. And so when he disembodied them, they could not go back to heaven, because those angels that rebelled, they can't go back to heaven. They were shut out. And if you'll look at what Jesus, when he was casting out those devils said, it's not our time. Did you come to torment us before our time? So when you and I die, we either go into the presence of the Lord or we go in hell or in Hades in a waiting place until final judgment. But the descendants of fallen angels, where do they go? Okay, can they go back to heaven? Can they go into the presence of Christ? No. Can they go in the underworld and for final judgment? No, because that time had not come yet. These are the spirits that are trapped on the earth that we call demons. These are the things that are unlawful. They have no right to be here. And when you casting out spirits, you take away their legal right. Sometimes they have contracts with families, generational curses, alcohol, sexual, incest, and all these things. When you start binding up and calling out all those spirits and canceling all contracts and all generational curses and all that stuff and all right, sometimes you can get into the eye gate. They can come through the mouth gate, through drinking and smoking drugs, through the ear gate from stuff they continually hear, through practicing witchcraft and all that stuff. You cancel all of those rights and you can cast out those unlawful spirits. They have no right to be here. They have no right to inhabit these bodies. And so, because that's what they wanted, because they was disembodied. They once had a body. Now, some of you are trying to cast out fallen angels. See, some fallen angels didn't disembody themselves. They didn't leave their habitation. So that's what we call principalities. These are thrones and dominions. These are the spirits that's still up there as angels. But the ones that came down here and changed their form and had children with the women, they had the Nephilim, which are demons. And that's what we cast out today. We are casting out demons, spirits that once had a body, and they want bodies. And that's why they try to get people to get involved in sin or witchcraft and evil, so that they can have a contract, a legal right to inhabit the body. Now, I was talking to somebody the other day about a video that Beyonce did, and I think the name of the song is called Get Me Body. Get Me Body. But if you look in that video, there is a little demon in a cage. Nobody in the room sees this thing but her. Nobody in the room notices that this thing is encouraging her to do something but her. If you look at the video, I'm not encouraging people to watch her stuff because it's witchcraft. But in that body, in that video, the demon is telling her to go out and commit sexual sin with people, male or female, so that they can get the spirit, that demon body, get it a body. And that's exactly what these demons are looking for. They're looking for a body. So now, when you're expelling demons, when you're casting them out, you must know that they have no legal right to be here. You must know that you have to break contracts and legal rights. Now, the person that's getting deliverance, they have to want deliverance from it. They have to denounce the right that they gave those spirits to come out. I was casting a spirit out of a woman one time, and she had a spirit, and the spirit kept telling me, I'm old. I'm an old spirit. I'm old. And I have a right to be here. And the spirit said, he said, I had her raped. I had an old man rape her when she was a little girl, and that's how I got in. And let me say this as I say that sometimes we've got to also have a sympathy or an empathy for people who are struggling with sexual things, homosexuals, transgenders. We have to have an empathy for it. Now, also in having that empathy for it, we cannot compromise with it. We've got to hate that spirit enough to cast it out. If you use to compromise with it, you come into a contract with it, and you're not going to want to cast it out because you're going to befriend it. Don't do that. Empathize with the person who was molested or who was struggling with this type of sin, but then you've got to hate the spirit enough to cast it out, to get rid of it. But anyway, they don't have a legal right to be here because they are offsprings of rebellious angels who came here unlawfully, all right, and put on unlawful bodies and did ungodly things in this earth realm. And we're seeing the effects of it now in today's, because this is what we're dealing with in the church and we're dealing with in the world. People are being embodied and inhabited by fallen angels, which we call demons, or descendants of angels called demons. So that's just a little quick word for you. And I hope it's been informative. I hope it's been a blessing for you. In this month that we're doing spiritual exercises, I just want to share with you that everybody should be casting out devils. Jesus said, these signs shall follow them that believe. And the first thing he wants to mention to us, after he says that they will speak with new tongues, they will cast out devils. And So we've got to cast out devils, and that's one of the great things about our ministry. We've got to get rid of these things, because these are the problem causers. These are the things that influence people to do bad, evil, unclean things. They are vicious against mankind. They don't like us. They hate us. And we've got to have a hatred for them in order to cast them out. I'm Pastor Jerone Davison. Be blessed.